Everyone is looking for the secret to stand out, the algorithm, the trend, the perfect brand formula. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. The fastest way to stand out isn't doing more, it's pretending less. The thing you're trying to polish, tone down, or fix is usually the exact thing that would make the right people notice you. Today, I want to talk about why being yourself isn't fluffy advice, why unique doesn't mean loud or flashy, and how to try to blend in is actually what's holding most people back. Welcome back to the Family First Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Heather Blake. All right, let's get into this. People want to stand out, and standing out feels hard. It feels harder than it should because there's so much information out there. There's so many people telling you this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay, so everyone's copying what works. But what works isn't actually what works. It's just what worked for one person, and they're trying to push their thoughts, their algorithm, their method, system, whatever it is, onto you. People are afraid of being judged more than they're afraid of being invisible. Both of those things, though, lead us to step back and shy away from being who we are. People have this myth that there's this perfect formula, and that's what we're doing, where you jump on a trend or a hack or this framework, and you think that's the problem. But when you try to copy what they're doing, you're removing your context, you're removing your personality, and you're losing trust. When everyone's following the same playbook, sameness becomes the brand. And if your brand is exactly like everyone else, that's setting yourself up for failure. Being yourself, what does that actually mean? And what doesn't it mean? It's not oversharing. Some people think that being yourself means that you have to show your children doing this. You have to share every aspect of your life. And if that's not you and that's not your comfort level, that's not being you. Some people believe that taking away the professionalism is being themselves, that you have to be this professional, polished person. And if you're not, that's not being yourself. That's untrue. You can be both professional and yourself at the same time. You don't have to show those aspects of you that you want to push to the back of your closet. You can still be yourself without showing all those aspects. I feel like this might be kind of a rant today. And if it is and it offends anyone, I apologize. But I am here to tell the truth so that way I can help you create a business that fits your life and doesn't burn you out or doesn't leave you in the background. Being yourself is letting your perspective, your values, your experience lead you. If you don't know what you stand for and you're not willing to say what you stand for, if you're not willing to act how you act, then you are hiding. If you are not willing to share your experience, the experience that has made you you over the last, I don't know how many years. I'm 42 years old. Am I 42 years old? Yes, I'm 42 years old. Going to turn 43 this year. And I have more experience than someone who is 20. They might have different experiences as me, but I have more experience overall because I have been on this earth for 42 years. I have done things that other people have not done. I have built businesses that other people have not built. I have lived life experiences that others have not lived. It's funny because sometimes I talk about my life experiences and I think, holy cow, I've lived so many lives. I have worked in retail for the first, from let's say, probably when I was 14 well, I started babysitting when I was like 13, 14, doing that. Well, 12, 13, 14, I was babysitting. I also pet sit for people when I was that age. And although I didn't consider it a business, I look back now and think, oh, I guess that was a business. I've started my first business that I consider a real business when I was a senior in high school. I worked in baseball, professional baseball, for multiple teams, starting when I was 17 years old. When I was 17, I was the assistant director of stadium operations. I also became the clubhouse manager. I did so much. And then I took that experience, went on to another team, and then another team, and another team. Basically, the teams kept leaving my town, so a new team would come in, and I'd end up working for someone else. I worked with Jim Bouton, who used to pitch for the New York Yankees. I worked with George Boomer Scott, who was an icon of the 60s, 70s in Red Sox baseball. I worked with Brian Daubach, same boat as well with the Red Sox baseball. I worked with other people who had gone through different areas of baseball, in the front office, on the field. That right there was one life. Then I also went and worked security for the New England Patriots. I was a security supervisor for the New England Patriots. I lived in Boston for a short period of time. That's when I worked for the Patriots. I went to school in Boston for photography. I hung out with people slinging tickets, or people that were reselling tickets, and I had fun hanging out with them. I was a volunteer firefighter and EMT. I've raised 2 biological children, and I've helped to raise my stepdaughter. I had a photography business for years. I went through cancer, almost died multiple times, was on life support. Well, I don't know if it's actually considered life support. I was intubated in the ICU for 7 days. No one has lived my life. We all have our own lives. We have all lived through things and done things that no one else has lived that exact life. They might have done something that we've done, but they didn't do it in the way that we did it, or how we did it, or after they already did this, or before they did that. We all lived our own lives. We all have our own personalities. We all have our own values. And if we are not willing to put that out there, then we fade to the background. You don't need to invent a character, because that's what a lot of people do. Like, if you look on YouTube, there are people out there who are completely authentic. You can tell they're authentic. And then there are other people that are taking on a character like they're on a TV show, or like they're a cartoon even. You do not need to invent a personality or a character. You already have a personality. And unless you are like a white piece of paper lying there flat on a desk, it's worth showing. I don't know why white piece of paper flat on a desk is what came to mind, but you have a personality worth showing, and that will help your business stand out from everyone else. So why does being you make you stand out, and why will that help your business? Standing out naturally repels the people that don't fit your business. Like that when you're talking to everybody, you're selling to no one. There's a lot of different ways of saying that same thing. I've heard tons of them. But when you're talking to everyone, no one hears you. But when you become yourself, allow yourself to show what you are, who you are, what you stand for, you repel the people that don't stand for the same thing, who don't believe the same thing, who find your personality offensive. But on the flip side, you connect on a so much deeper level with the people that do believe the same things as you. You connect with the people that feel the same things that you feel, that are going through similar things that you have gone through. I talk about being a mom and how that, how that affects me as an entrepreneur. And because of that, other people who have children and are entrepreneurs, they connect with me more. I am a family first entrepreneur, and my intention is to connect with other family first entrepreneurs. Because by being me, I connect with people like you more. You might have the same exact niche as somebody else. You might have a very similar offer as someone else, but you have a different energy. And that means you have a different audience. So if there's 500 people in your city selling soy candles, and someone is the calm, serene person calling it lilies or lilacs. That's the name of their lilies and lilacs. That's the name of the scent. But you name your scent something totally different. You're like, hey, if you're looking for a soy candle because you're a mom who just needs a chance to hide in the bathroom and relax, and you want the I'm hiding in the bathtub scent, here it is. This is your hiding in the bathroom scent. That's a totally different feel than lilies and lilacs. Hiding in the bathroom, lilies and lilacs. Sorry, had a moment there. But you can have the same niche, right? Soy candles for moms, lilies and lilacs, hiding in the bathroom. You both selling a soy candle that smells similar to a similar person, but you let your personality shine through. And you're going to connect with a different mom wanting to buy a soy candle in a different way. Your story changes how people receive your message. And it changes how you give out your message. The real risk is not being different. The real risk is blending in and being forgettable. If everyone else is tan and you decide to be tan, you don't stand out. Part of the reason I actually chose my brand colors of green and yellow is because they are so different than what I was seeing everyone else do online right now. Like green and yellow. Green also stands for money, wealth, things like that. The yellowish gold as well, similar things. They stand out, their vibrancy. So I also chose them because of my personality. The vibrant colors. I feel like I have a vibrant personality. But I'm not a pink person, even though a couple of my businesses have pink in them. Fuchsia. I really only like fuchsia. But I chose my brand colors of green and yellow to stand out, to fit my personality, to be vibrant. So I was not forgettable tan like all the other aesthetic people out there. That wasn't me. That's not me. I don't want to be forgettable. That's also why I share things occasionally. Like I posted a reel one day of me tripping. I was creating a reel and I stepped backwards and I stepped on the couch that's right over there. I stepped on it and like almost fell. And I posted that as a reel because it stands out. It's not polished. It's not fake. It's real. It's me. Also, I've done ones before, like when I'm acting like this. If you do different things, then your personality stands out. Like I had fun. And I always have this goal of trying to be more fun and trying to not limit myself and dull myself down. Because sometimes that can be hard. You feel like you need to be professional. Or you feel like you need to, not be too unique, because if you're too unique, maybe someone will judge you. But you're better off being judged than you are blending in and being forgettable. If people can't tell you apart from the other tan people, then I just had this vision, then we're all just middle-aged men in Florida standing on a beach with our tall white socks, our flip-flops, our Bermuda shorts, and a Hawaiian shirt. If everyone on the beach was all wearing that same thing, no one would stand out. But if you're the lady standing there in the polka dot 1940s bathing suit, you stand out from the crowd. You don't stand out by becoming like everyone else. You stand out by deciding that who you already are is enough and choosing to lead with that. That's some food for thought. I want you to take this week and think about that. Are you showing your personality? Are you blending in, or do you dare to stand out? I'll see you next week on the Family First Entrepreneur Podcast.